And maybe we should, considering the movie we watched, maybe we should have reviewed it outside. It's like cloudy and rainy and dark. Also, there might be thieves back there. Happy Halloween?
Right?
This goes along with Batman Returns, which was a Christmas film that was also released around this time in summer 30 years ago.
Okay, I actually did not realize that about that movie.
That it was a Christmas movie?
Well, that it was, released in the summertime and...
Yeah. Just nowadays we all just watch it around Christmas. This
Right.
one you could really watch around any holiday because it takes place during several. It's sort of like that holiday movie that I watched last December where it was like, oh, it's this Netflix Christmas thing. Then you watch it and it's like, oh, it's about getting drunk on all the holidays. So, exactly the same as this movie, only it's about you can shoot mobsters and commit mass murder really during any holiday. It's always going to be really dark and rainy outside, sometimes snowing. Just get yourself a gun and some rubber nipples. No, actually, it makes sense that this movie was released around this time, because Batman has been all over Twitter recently, between the Michael Keaton set photos that came out that are really cool, with him on set of The Flash as Bruce Wayne.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks like he's got some scars down his face, too, from when he got clawed at the end of Batman Returns. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I can't wait for this movie. And also, whether or not Batman will go down on Catwoman, which has been most of the discourse, I think, for the last couple weeks. It makes sense they released this movie around this time. There's a lot of scenes with Batman and Catwoman playing grab ass on top of buildings. A lot of sexual tension there. Mm-hmm. I don't even know why this is an issue anyway. I've seen Italian Batman, the porn parody. I know what Batman does in the bedroom. And that he has genital warts and rides a bicycle. I remember that movie. I don't remember a lot about that movie. I remember the positions, I remember the warts, and I remember the bicycle. That's really all you gotta know about it. As you can tell by the wild rambling I'm doing, I haven't read the comic that this is based on, so this is going to be a review that's going to be a lot of like, oh, the animation was really good, Batman's super cool, Joker's in it, genital warts, what's the weather like outside? Anyway, I give it a B. There's your
review done.
There's your review. I haven't read the comic, so I'll have plenty more, or most likely less, to say in Long Halloween Part 2 when that gets released next month.
But I'm kind of with you. I, read my share of comics, but not.
But it was all Beetle Bailey. The second there is the Batman Beetle Bailey crossover, you will know exactly what to say. No, there's a lot of things I like about this movie, other than its lacking of Beetle Bailey characters. I did like how quiet this movie is. Like, it's a quiet movie. I had to get all my jokes out in the review. I would ruin the mood if I made Sunday comic strip references when we were watching the film. No, it's...
Sorry, you totally derailed me with that, because I'm
You should be used to my derailing by now. You know that eventually it's going to get into the Sunday funnies, STDs, and the movie being a very moody, quiet piece of film. So I'll sneak in some criticism in there somewhere. Some positive criticism. No, I don't know how you felt about it, but I like that this is, it's a very dry movie.
But it was raining a lot. No.
Which made it it's an ironic piece of film. That's the riddle right there.
I guess I don't know what you mean by dry.
It's a very monotone, and I don't mean this as an insult towards the movie. It's a very monotone movie where it's not like, well, I mean, I know there's a lot of these movies, and a lot of them have wildly different ranges of tones and play with different genres. The last one that I saw, Soul of the Dragon, that took place in the 70s and was like this kung fu blaxploitation Batman movie. Okay. That was really cool. This one is more like a really quiet, like, 30s gangster movie. Yeah. Where even a lot of the action scenes, there is music in the movie, there is a soundtrack, but it's not used very much. And when it is there, It's usually about the same kind of beats, and it's very quiet.
Yeah.
It gives it a very brooding atmosphere to it, and a general sense of dread throughout these very colorful holidays that it's taking place in.
Yeah.
And I liked that about it.
I could agree with that. It really kind of reminded me of 90s Batman.
You can see how, like, other Batman movies have things that happen in them that are sort of in this, whether it's like the Joker trying to gas people during a celebration.
Right.
We all remember the classic Halloween scene from Batman Forever. Twick or tweet! They take over Batman's house by dressing as trick-or-treaters. Where was that scene in this movie?
I think we all want to forget about Batman Forever.
I like Batman Forever. Batman Forever is fun.
The Joel Schumacher Batmans? No, I think...
You've been hanging around Twitter too long. That's what your problem is. Before Twitter, you were all like, best movie ever! Then you go on Twitter and you're just like, Batman Forever, meh. Everyone loves a scene where they're playing Battleship with each other to try to sink Batman's submarine. And none of that happened in this movie, by the way. There was a Halloween sequence in the other movie, but unfortunately there wasn't a scene where a villain tosses some grenades and pretends it's a fart. I mean, it reminded me more. I mean, it is one of those Batman movies where in the first part of it, I'm trying to kind of pinpoint what date it is. And I know most of these are like a hybrid between how cars and styles are in the 1930s, especially gangster movies, and whatever year the movie happens to be it was made during.
Yeah.
But considering that the last one that I saw actually was taking place in the 1970s, there was a moment at the beginning of this where I was going, is this taking place like a bunch of years ago? Because dude's got a landline, and of course there's all these cars and how they're talking and everything like that. But no, it shows one character with what looks like an iPhone at one point. So I'm like, okay, so I've solved that mystery about the movie. That is the only kind of detective that I could be. What year does this take place in?
And apparently, the problem that I had with this movie is that's apparently as far as Batman is able to decipher as a detective.
We haven't seen part 2 yet. Jessica Fletcher doesn't solve her mysteries and start writing her book in the first half of the episode.
You and obscure references to
Murder, She Wrote's not obscure. My grandma would totally understand it. Matlock, who's that? Is that some chicken joint? I don't know, it might be.
What?
Anyway, as you were saying about... What were we talking about? What are we reviewing? We're reviewing, like, murder mysteries, right? Look, here's where Father Dowling Mysteries went wrong. At no point does he take off the priest outfit, put on tight leather, dress as a bat.
Although that would be fun.
Dude, yeah. That's how that show got canceled. They got their asses sewed off. I mean, there's some lines in the movie where you could tell, like, okay, I think this is kind of based on an older product. Because there's some lines where I'm like, oh, you dusted off that old one where all the gangsters are together, and one of them's like, I'm gonna make him sleep with the fishes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you said that. I wouldn't have known you were a gangster otherwise.
Right. So moments like that and the late establishing shots of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas with the titles, that really annoyed me too, because it's like, yeah, okay, we know. There was even moments in the dialogue whenever the characters were like, it's Christmas, and then you'd, like, after the killing, it'd be like, Christmas. And it's like, yeah,
that didn't bother me.
Really?
No, because I took it as, like, that's just the end of, like, that chapter. And there was a theme to it where it pops up at each crime scene.
All right.
And then it kind of jumps to the next holiday.
I guess I guess I didn't think of it that way. Like, yeah, maybe it might be the end of a chapter, but I don't know. I feel like something like that should be like something like that should tell you when a chapter begins. I guess.
I mean, yeah, but that's why you got to pay attention to the calendar in the background. That'll tell. There's a villain in the movie named Calendar Man.
Who the hell is that? I have never heard of Calendar Man. And there was this other one in Arkham that I was just like, who the hell is that? The like dinky little dude, almost.
Oh,
munchkin.
there was yeah. I think one of them was Scarecrow. Another was. It flashed by when they're in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
They were like references to other villains.
One was Penguin. The first one was
think
Penguin.
so. Yeah, I missed the name. It goes by the names like kind of quick, so a couple of them I missed. But yeah, then there was Calendar Man, who's this universe's Hannibal Lecter.
Right.
Hannibal Lecter.
Who the hell is Calendar Man?
He's very specific about dates and less eating people. More so about being on time for dinner and not missing your reservation. It drove the man insane. Yeah, no, the dates thing didn't bother me. Like maybe it's from the comics. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not going to use that as an excuse, really, because I don't know. And that doesn't really mean anything. Like, you could be like, I didn't really care much for the scene where Batman sucked a golf ball through a silly straw. And I'd be like, it's from the comics.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it happened in the comics. Just ask Beale Bailey.
Yeah. He went through some shit after Vietnam, man. It got very dark in the 70s in the Beetle Bailey comics. They had to take it off of the front page and put it towards the back.
I would read that comment.
For a very interesting crossover.
Oh my god. That would be great if he was like sitting there with the Sarge and he's like, what are you going to do after the war? Oh, I don't know, Beetle.
It makes it a very interesting crossover with Doonesbury. It's super underrated. It was the Batman and Ninja Turtles of its time. That crossover. Shit. I liked another reason why I was sitting there going like, okay, I'm wondering what year this is taking place in, because some characters have very powerful mustaches in the movie.
Yeah.
So much to the point to where like I almost wish it was more comedic, because between Alfred's powerful mustache and Commissioner Gordon's, it looked like it should be animated in that hilarious way where you don't see their mouths moving. You can see like, I really hate it when Batman does this. No, and I like the movie. It's short enough. It's only like 80 some minutes long.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's times where I was kind of drifting in and out of it a little bit because it is a very dry movie. Mm-hmm. But it's also easy to get soaked up in its style, and it's very, 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 very quiet atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's not the most exciting Batman movie in the world. But there is a solid mystery to it, and I like it being this kind of old school mafia murder mystery thing that it's got going on. Yeah. So I'll definitely watch the second part.
Yeah.
Because I reviewed the first part. So.
Right. Now we got to commit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we... No, so I did like how this did remind me of the 90s Batman. I even liked how the voice actor of the Joker was kind of mimicking Mark Hamill.
It took me a second at first. I was like, is it?
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like him. They're really doing a really good job.
It really did. And I also like the writers for the Joker, like that scene where he's being chased down the flight of stairs and he's like, oh, you know what I forgot? And he pulls out a gun.
Oh yeah.
Like, moments like that are when I don't know. I dig the Joker for shit like that. You know, I dig how not only is he a psychopath, but he's kind of a troll.
Yeah, and it doesn't overuse him either. Like it's pretty late into the movie that he comes into it.
Yeah.
I'd give it a B. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, B.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had minor complaints, but nothing to just make me sit here and be like, no, unacceptable.
Which is what you were doing in Batman Forever, apparently.
Well, yeah.
That movie's perfect, dude. You tell Seal to his face that movie sucks.
It's the car, right? Chicks dig the car.
Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir? No drive-through. Classic.
Yeah, that movie was awesome.
It is, dude. Jim Carrey just pushes Ed Begley Jr. out of a window and then alters the video footage to make it look like he's gone insane and jumped out himself.
Because that happened. That's how that works.
Oh, well, I believe that more than I believe. All right, one thing about this movie, yeah, some of the acrobatics and them leaping off of buildings and things like that are fine. Like, okay, of course it's not very realistic, but I mean, it goes along with the comics and the rest of the animated movies and things like that. You get used to them swinging over shit all the time, jumping from building to building.
Right.
All right, fine, like you can accept it. But there was one part where Catwoman just like lets go of a clock tower, which seems like it's as tall as a skyscraper.
Right.
Falls all the way down and just lands fine on a moving subway.
Yeah.
That part, I was like...
Sticks the landing, everything. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like I said, that definitely falls under my minor complaints.
Yeah. I think I actually was sitting there and just went... Sure.
Yeah, right. You did. No, we both audibly were just like, oh, bullshit.
Right. I'm like, you can go a little too far, and that really, really did. But that's minor. It's a cool looking movie. Other than that, all right. Well, we're gonna watch a few other things, and also I didn't want to complain too hard about it, considering we're seeing Fast 9 later, where I'm sure that.
Oh no, man, that's totally accurate.
Yeah,
a car could totally swing from a cliff.
We're about to find out. Take care. See it.